Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Bob Randall and Company Live episode number 10 for September 5th, 2022. And Randall is out working a gig last 3 days. So today we have the illustrious my co-host for the day, Santa Scott Chit from Edmond, Oklahoma. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Bob, it's great to be here, and my goodness gracious, it's great to see your audience, and it was a lot of fun trying to jump in here from Spangle's place last week. So I'm glad I'm at least here live now instead of trying to do it remote. But we tried, and it was a lot of fun spending time with Spangle. We had a great time. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, the thing about when you was at Spangles, just always remember, because we figured this out afterwards, but log on to his Wi-Fi. That way you got a good connection. We seem to have that problem when we try to go remote a lot, and it's something that we've been trying to figure out and we're getting better at. So anyway, let's say hello to those folks out there watching today. Looks like we've got Rex Ray, Erica Moesha, Jeff Ouellette. Hello, hello. Kat, hi Kat, good to have you in today. Can't wait till tomorrow night. Gosh, we're so excited about tomorrow night's show. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's get to the weather first, though, man. I got to tell you, we had storms on and off every day for the last few days. It's hit and miss. Parts of the Metroplex got rain. Parts of the Metroplex got way too much rain. There was some flooding yesterday, but we had a storm come through here late yesterday afternoon with about 65 plus mile an hour winds. Gosh, I thought it was going to blow us away. It was an event that lasted a good, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and it just kept coming and big gust of wind. But boy, I tell you what, it's absolutely gorgeous out there today for Labor Day. Woke up this morning 66 degrees here. Scott, you said it was cool up here in Oklahoma City, Edmond also.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful Labor Day here in Oklahoma. 63 degrees this morning, and it's topped out at 89, so it hasn't been too bad. At 3 o'clock today, it was 89. So we're kind of hanging in. Got out and got to play on the mower a little bit and do some honeydews, trying to get the yard mowed for Mama. So, but anyhow, it's been a really nice day. We've had a couple cool mornings. The past couple mornings have been really nice. So I'm ready for winter myself, Bob.
Yeah, I hear you. And it's amazing how when you get to this time of year every year, after those long dog days of summer, here in the South, Oklahoma, Texas, basically mirror each other in weather, how the mornings smell so much crisp, and the air has a sense of refreshment to it, especially after a rainstorm. Absolutely love this time of year. Only thing I don't love about it is the pollen begins to rise. Ragweed starts coming in. A lot of folks, more than not, suffer with the ragweed, and me and my family are all ragweed sufferers, so that's the only thing I don't like about this time of year. But that's all right. We'll deal with it. Take a little bit of medication and keep right on going. And for you, Scott, up there, you got acreage.
Yeah,
5
acres up here, and the rain was very welcomed. And of course, my friends that live in my yard and around the surrounding area, I have 3 bucks that come to my yard every evening and eat. So they have really enjoyed this fresh growth of grass from having all the dry. So
now, have you caught yourself out in the yard going ho 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 and giving them names?
Well, I would like to keep them in the yard rather than run them off.
Exactly.
I haven't quite jumped out there and done that yet, but I was backing out of the driveway yesterday morning, the morning before, and I looked out through there, and there's 3 bucks just standing right out there by my bedroom side of the house, and just grazing in it. Didn't phase them. I pulled up and stopped and looked at them. They looked at me and went back to eating. So they're almost pets, like my reindeer at the North Pole as well.
Well, of course. All right, let's go ahead and give a shout out to AJ. Good to see you today, AJ. Santa Marcus, good to see you. Scott Becker, good to have you on again with us today. Absolutely fantastic. So, we're talking about the weather and how nice it is. The season's sneaking up on us. It won't be long, and the season will be here. So I hope everyone is starting to prepare, if not already prepared, for this upcoming season. Many of us that are doing photography work with photographers. Start sometimes in October, sometimes in September. I did have one photographer reach out to me this year, wanted to start at the end of September, but that deal kind of fell through. She's not able to get the location that she wanted and everything. So I told her to, we'll work on that and go from there. But I start in the middle of October this year with two different photographers. So looking forward to that.
I had an agent send me a text right before the show started for 3 more jobs midweek. My midweeks, for some reason, they're almost, my weekends are pretty much all full, but midweeks and now they're the couple of weekends. It's a super technical call to see if I can make the drive from Guthrie, Oklahoma to Canton, Texas to do a job down there this year. So we'll see if I can work that out. I may not be able to take the one up here because I've already promised the lady I'd come down there. But I look forward to seeing her kids and all that. I guess that, like we all say, is that doing this portrayal work, and it's all in our heart. And whether we have a Santa suit on or we don't, doesn't matter where we go. We're always Santa. I had an adult yesterday selling popcorn. As everybody knows, I'm involved with Scouts. And I was selling popcorn and pouring Lowe's with my kids. And I had an adult come up and he wanted to ask so bad, "Are you Santa Claus?" And he kept on and finally he broke down. You can tell they're just itching to ask, but they're almost embarrassed to. I said, "Are you Santa Claus?" And that was my answer. So he got his answer. But yes, it's the season is here, and people, we need to get geared up and ready for it all. Also, Bob, not to change the subject, but my son and grandson are supposed to be watching today from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So shout out to them. Hello, Derek and Artie G.
Also say hi to Dee and Bob Smith. Bob's up in the New Jersey area. Good to see those folks on with us today. All right, well, moving on here, let's go ahead and move on to our first segment of the day. All right, fantastic here. So this is our Something Burger segment. We started this last week. This is a audience participation. This will be a question that we pose to you guys and ladies. If you haven't answered, just put them into the comment box. If you want to share an experience, whatever you want to do, we just want to get you guys involved with this show. So the Something Burger hot topic of the day. And this is a sensitive question. It's a question that has to be talked about. For me at the mall, I have a trigger word that I would say to my set manager or assistant manager on set for the day that would let them know that they need to try to find out a little bit more information from the adult in charge there. And this is the reason why. What would you do if a child told you in secrecy as Santa that a family member or neighbor or anyone for that matter was doing naughty things to them or hurting them in some way, and that it was their secret? A lot of children will open up to Santa and Mrs. Claus. They won't tell other people, but in confidence. You don't want to break that confidence with the child. You don't want to let on to them that you suspect something. So therefore, if you set up a trigger word or a different signal that you can give to someone that you're working with that day, and this is something that you should discuss with, if you're doing a large event, that you should discuss with either the manager on scene, set manager, assistant manager, whatever, but have some type of way of communicating. And simply the manager on site can, just try to find out last name, pry a little bit without prying, without letting on. But, would you call CPS, Child Protection Services, if you knew that this was happening? Would you remain silent as a Santa and Mrs. Claus? what detrimental harm could be done beyond you not letting the authorities know that something like this has been posed to you. So give us your questions and we'll run through them here as we go along. Looks like Marcus is the first one in the queue here. Says you must notify authorities somehow, some way. 100%. Absolutely agree.
Yep. The
Hey, Randy. Looks like we got Randy on with us. He's out working today, but couldn't be on the show. He's at his gig from 1 to I believe it was 3:30, something to that nature. So, but it's good to see he's watching. Randy, we're talking about the something burger at this point. I'm going to reread the question one more time. What would you do if a child told you in secrecy that a family member or neighbor or anyone for that matter was doing naughty things or harming them, and that it was their secret? And usually when I say that it was their secret, that's because the adult has manipulated or I hate to use the word brainwash, but brainwash the child into thinking that it's either okay and or use verbal threats against them, that they'll harm a family member if they speak up, or gives them candy, or whatever the scenario may be.
Well, a secret's a secret, so it's mainly that they said it's our secret,
Right.
and because it's our secret, we don't tell anybody, and that's.
And Kat says she would notify someone. I think it's our duty that we have to, guys. I mean, there's probably different ways of handling it, and that's kind of where we wanted to pry today, was find out how you would go about being able to find out enough information to at least call CPS and say, this certain person or this child told me this or that, and I felt that it was my duty that at least we investigate it in some way or another, and I'm turning it over to you guys. This is what I know, and tell them what was said to you.
You have a concern that the child has expressed something in the way that maybe put a question in your mind. Was there something, as you said in the question, naughty going on?
Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Scott, and cover Rex's answer here.
Okay, first I ask if they like a Santa hug. Then I speak. Then I speak my set's trigger word to let my assistant know we might have a situation. Then I try to talk with the child and get as much info as I can. If I have reason, then we have a second word, and that tells my assistant to notify authorities, and I try to keep the family engaged while we wait.
Perfect.
Great input, Rex. Thank you.
Well, and that's why Rex is a Hall of Famer right there. All right, so Marcus says we had a nice teddy bear that presented that situation. We told that child that we were giving away a plush teddy bear for Christmas, and we had pre-picked a certain number that they were, and then asked them for a name, phone number, so we could contact them if they want. Hey, Marcus, that is an excellent way to undercover, not to give yourself away. Find out the information that would be necessary to turn that over to CPS, Child Protection Services. Fantastic way of doing it. I love the idea of the plush teddy bear. Great contribution right there. I love that. All right. Any other comments you guys want to throw in at this time before we move on from this onto our next topic? Randy, I hope you're having fun out there today at your gig, brother.
And, Randy, thanks for letting me sit in for you, man. It's always a pleasure to be here with Bob and to hang out with you when Bob's not here. So I'm always honored to be able to jump on here with you guys. It's always been
well, and Scott is a contributor to the Tuesday Night Live show and to the Monday show here. He is I guess if you count Angela as the third part of the broadcast, Scott is the fourth part. He's here. He's going to be filling in from time to time. Randy will have gigs where he won't be able to show up at certain times because he does other things outside of the Santa community as far as magic, balloon tying, different realms of things that he does. So it gives us someone to always fall back on, know that Scott is always available and ready to go. And on top of that, this is Bob Randyl and Company. So, maybe not have that situation this year, but maybe next year we can have 3 or 4 of us on on a Monday show periodically to kind of broaden the show out a little bit more.
It's always fun, and we love having you guys join Bob and Randyl normally, and me when I'm here. I love to hear your perspectives and your ideas and your input because it helps us all grow. So.
Marcus continues saying, luckily it's never happened. I haven't had this situation arise either. I do know a couple of Santas that say that they had suspected of something from something a child had said, and but it's never personally happened to me. Most will never come across this, but like a good scout, always be prepared. Hey, Scott, you know about scouts?
Of course, and that's the scout motto: be prepared.
That's correct.
So that kind of falls back on everything we do, guys. You know, we go out to go to work as Santa and in every different kind of situation. And the main thing we always need to double check before we leave the house is that we have everything. Because how many times have I gone out and realized, oops, I dropped a glove somewhere and I'm there with one glove. I don't know how many times that Michael Jackson Santa comes across very well, and it doesn't work for me. So I usually always have an extra pair in the console of the car, whether I'm doing Santa stuff or DJ or catering or scouts or whatever. There's always a pair of gloves in my console. So,
hey,
like Marty said, we need to be prepared always.
Yeah. Well, hey, brother, you can always pull it off by doing the moonwalk and throw that one white glove up in the air
and do the jiggle wiggle.
yeah, exactly. All right, looks like we've run our course with the answers on the something burger. Thanks everyone who participated in that. I hope everyone kind of, and again, these shows are all about learning and sharing. Guys like Rex Ray, that's a Hall of Famer that's been doing this for years and years, and guys that have experience can always help the new guys coming out. We do have new folks that watch our shows each week, and when I say new, I'm talking about 5 years or less experience. But hey, even if you've been doing it 10, 15, 20 years, there's always other perspectives, and other folks' input could also help you or teach you or learn you something. And so that's why we are always trying to strive to help better us all as we go forward. The Something Burger is exactly that. It's a teaching moment, and we hope everyone got something out of that. And if that situation ever does arise, we pray to the Lord that it doesn't. Children are so vulnerable at a young age, and there's bad people out there always lurking in the shadows. So let's pray that it never happens, but if it does, then you are prepared. I love the teddy bear idea. That is a great way to get that information that you need. And of course, as Rex said, try to stretch that visit out while the authorities are notified, and hopefully get that child help if they need it. Okay, Angela, let's move on to the next segment.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Don't forget to check out their sister site, MrsClausJewels.com, where Mrs. Claus Janice is a leading supplier for Mrs. Claus, elves, and Santa jewelry, knickknacks, and accessories. Both Tom and Janice are passionate about exceeding your expectations, bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Visit their sites at santascloset.org and MrsClausJewels.com. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
And again, Randy is out on assignment today doing some extra work. Moesha and Eric say very good question and answer. Thank you guys. Thank you for giving us your 2 cents worth there. All right, so santascloset.org. Trivia question is Scott's going to handle this one. Go ahead, Scott.
Who was the writer that wrote and co-directed the movie Christmas Vacation? Now get those fingers going and get out there, and we need some good answers. We need the correct answer coming up, which we'll reveal in a little bit. Once again, it is who was the writer that wrote and co-directed the movie Christmas Vacation? I think that was with what? Chevy Chase, right?
Chevy Chase.
Was the
Beverly D'Angelo, fantastic. One of my all-time favorite movies. I could watch that thing a million times. I still get a kick out of it. Watched Vegas Vacation the other night, the Wally World set and laugh. I still laugh at that. The pool scene at the hotel. One of my favorite lines when Chevy Chase skivvies down and stands there and says, "No, this is crazy. This is crazy." I laugh so hard every time I see that. Just to think that.
Would like to remind everybody that if you won in the past 30 days, you're not eligible. The rules for the drawings are posted on the are pinned to the group page. So just a reminder of that. Looks like we've got some answers coming in. I guess that Angela's going to monitor those and the time mark on those as well.
Yes, she will, and see who's eligible and not eligible, and give us the winner when we reveal the trivia answer later on. So from there, let's do the video that rolls us out of this segment. All right, fantastic. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and jump into the preview for the Tuesday Night Live show for September 6th. That is tomorrow night, folks. You do not want to miss this one. We will be having Kat Imhausen back for part 2 of the American Sign Language for Christmas Entertainers. We have a few warm-up questions for her set aside to start the show off tomorrow night. Just to get to know her a little bit better. We went through so much with her the first time around. The first half of the show was to get to know her. The second half was American Sign Language. Everybody wants more sign language lessons. So we're going to hold those to a few questions to start, and we're going to jump right in with part 1. Should run around 20 minutes or so. Then we'll take our mid-show break, do the Spangle trivia, and then we'll jump back into part 2, and she'll finish out the second half of the show. Got a couple of videos of her signing Christmas songs, which are fantastic. Absolutely love it. The emotion that she puts into her signing with these 2 songs, as Randy puts it, and Randy has said this the last few weeks as we've talked about this, it gives him cold chills, or I call them duck bumps, but either way, it's just that feeling of her signing and with so much emotion these songs and the meaning behind them and how important they are to all of us in the Christmas community. But she has one that's really special, dear to her heart, and we'll be running those tomorrow night. So do not miss tomorrow night. Going to be fantastic. Cannot wait. Did you catch the first time around we had Kat this year, Scott?
I think I was out of town with the Scouts when that happened.
I think so.
But Kat's an amazing. I've met her. I think she was on once when I was hosting with you in the very beginning. She's amazing Christmas community support and does a great job in the community as teaching and her portrayal as well. And yep. I mean, she's a wonderful lady, and you couldn't ask for someone better to teach you sign language, because her knowledge is more than anybody else I've seen so far. I mean, I've done the sign language DVD that Spangle sells, but learning it one-on-one from Kat, it just seems to be easier from everything that I've seen that she's had online throughout my time being around. I would like to remind everybody that 7 o'clock tomorrow night for the Tuesday Night Live show. And by golly, I'm going to be there as well because Spangle's on the road headed north again. So I can't wait to see Kat and then spend some time with her tomorrow, as well as Bob and Angela. And I'm sure y'all will get tired of hearing me rattle after these 2 days, but it's okay. I'm still okay. But I enjoy being here, and thank you so much for being a part of this. And Tom, thank you so much for trusting us and being a part of this as well, with you being here and doing the prizes for the trivia. So, Bob, let's go back to you and let's talk about let's see what's up next. Anyhow,
Up in Chatterbox News.
Where you go?
Yeah. It's kind of regurgitated from last week. It's just a quick announcement, a couple of announcements we want to make here. I know we made it last week. We may have a few folks on today that didn't see last week's show or didn't catch a replay of it. Santa by Parker custom Christmas buckles. You know them well. We've had them on the page. They were serial numbered 1 through 25. Scott recently, about 2 weeks ago, sold the last couple of those buckles. They're done. They're over with. Cannot get any more. There will not be any more made. But he did have the artist proof number 1 that was sent to him that he okayed to have the 1 through 25 copied after. He is raffling that one artist proof number 1 off. It has no serial number on it, but it was the original. The raffle is already closed. He sold all the available spots, which turns out to be 25. They were $10 a piece. But the announcement is that drawing for that buckle will be on the Tuesday Night Live show, September 27th. So if you was happen to get one of those raffle tickets, and there was only one per person available, if you happen to get one of those, you'll have to come over to the Tuesday Night Live show on the 27th of September to see who gets that buckle. Fantastic. He's going to, I believe he's going to, originally this is what we talked about, but he was going to donate that proceeds to the Daisy May Memorial Foundation.
The scholarship
For the school, exactly. All right, and one last quick thing. We just want to remind everyone that this show, the Bob, Randyl, and Company Live, can now be seen on YouTube. All 9 episodes are on. The 10th episode, today's show, will be put up minutes within the finish of today's show, as quick as she can get it downloaded. It's at the Bob, as you can see on the screen, Randyl and Company Live preview show. That's how you find it on YouTube. Go over and check it out. Give us a like. Give us a share. Please subscribe. We need subscribers really bad. If we can get to that 100 subscriber mark, not only on there, but on the Tuesday Night Live channel also, then we get to have our personalized URL number, gets rid of all those hashtags and backslashes and numbers and weird URL, and are able to use our particular name in our URL, which is always important. It's easier to find, easier to keep up with. All right, Scott, going on, moving on right here, upcoming guests and shows. You want to cover that for us, brother?
Sure. I can't wait till September the 13th to see Santa Carlucci and Jenny Lynn. Their segment, they have a I forget exactly what they call it.
Carlucci Way.
The Carlucci Way. And I will tell you guys, that's one you're not going to want to miss either. Bob has done an amazing job for the Tuesday Night Live, lining up some of these folks. They're just full of so much information. The Carlucci Way, if I'm not mistaken, they go through a lot of the do's and don'ts and the things about working with the Mrs. Claus and working off of each other and making life easier, actually, and your job as Santa even easier, because Mrs. Claus takes some of that stress and that extra work off of you, and it helps with that child that doesn't want to come to your knee, for one reason or another. So the Carlucci Way is an amazing going to be amazing segment. And then on the September 20th, you're not going to want to miss this either. Cherry Hill programs are going to be back on, but not with just 2. but with 4 or 5 folks from Cherry Hill. So be ready to ask, questions on that segment on the 20th on the Tuesday Night Live show, because this is where, with all these folks there, this is where you'll get every question that you have about working in a chair or working for a photography company like Cherry Hill is going to be answered. So we definitely want to see everybody there. And like, again, back to the 6th, tomorrow night will be CAP. So there's three weeks of some honestly great information, and those are 3 weeks you definitely don't want to miss. And I don't want to forget October the 18th. Put this on your calendar. Mark this. This date will be the 2nd annual Halloween costume contest. My goodness gracious! I think I'm going to come as Bob McMahon.
Oh, that's not going to be too hard, since we do resemble each other.
Well,
but back to the Halloween costume show. Go ahead and start getting your costume set up. Start thinking about what you're going to do. Time is getting short already. We're already into the end of the first week of September, so we're only looking at 7.5 weeks, 7 weeks, I guess, about until that show on October 18th. Back to the Cherry Hill programs real quick, just for a quick rundown on that. Not only will we have Becky and Ruby, we're also slated to have Lonnie, also Crystal, and trying to think who else. Huh?
Does it start with an A? I don't remember her name either. It started with an A. Angela, maybe, or no?
No, it'll come to me before the end of the show. We'll throw it in there. And then for the Carlucci Way and Jeannie Lynn Carlucci, another Hall of Famer, and they have recently developed a program. And as Scott said, banter backwards and forth, how working with Mrs. Claus, how to be able to answer each other's questions, and fantastic. Glad to see a Hall of Famer, as many do, share their knowledge and try to help those that have come in behind them that need answers. And so we're looking forward to that. Fantastic. Cannot wait. Andrea,
I told you it was an A word.
I think that's correct. All right. Anyway, okay. So moving on, give everyone the trivia answer for today's SantaClausette.org, Scott.
Okay, the trivia answer for today. Well, I'll go repeat the question one more time.
Okay.
Who was the writer that wrote and co-directed the movie Christmas Vacation? And the answer to that is John Hughes.
And of course, if you can look over in the right-hand column, AJ Bayless has already put it up, because he's always on top of things, believe me, that he has given his trivia gift to his dad. His dad is also a Santa. AJ is a second-year Santa. But AJ is our winner today. He just become available again. So, AJ, back to 30 days on hold for you, brother. But you've been on a roll lately. That's several times in the last month that you picked up a trivia prize from one of the shows or one of the questions. So fantastic.
He's doing so well, Bob. I think we need to become his uncle. So maybe he can win for us a little bit. But, I don't think that's completely fair. But, AJ, I'm happy to be your uncle, buddy.
Fantastic. All right. So there will not be no Santa Short segment today, because that is Randy's segment. I could have taken it and done something with it, but we want to reserve that for Randy. I told him when we started talking about different segments that we could do, that was his baby. He was in charge of it. He's done a fantastic job with that. Enjoy seeing it each and every week, but not today, because Randy's not with us. So we'll save that for next week and another day. So that's going to move us on to Santa's Perspective. It's fairly new. This will be our 5th segment episode. If I was an agent today, Scott Chit is going to take that, and we're going to do the lead in right here. All right, Scott. So the segment today you have titled Grade A Dressing Rooms. Take it from there, brother.
Hey, my experience that I've had, and I'm not as old a Santa as most of the rest. I'm starting into my 5th season, but if I was an agent, I wanted to make sure that my Santas definitely have a clean dressing room. And I'm not talking about a bathroom with a metal chair and just an old metal rack hanging up in the corner, if you even have that. My experience is that some of the jobs that I've done that have been booked by an agent in the past might be the dressing room in the mechanic shop, or it could have been a janitor's closet, or the public bathroom. And in those cases, we I feel like we need to have facilities where our suits will stay clean, where we don't have to worry about um, just getting it. Can't be nasty. It's got to be clean, and that's my big push. Another thing is parking. We all need to have, our agents need to be giving us dedicated parking, requesting that, and a dressing room, a green room, whatever you want to call it. But it needs to be more than just a bathroom, and that's my main point. And I hope that some of y'all will start. I don't want to use the word demanding, but suggesting to the people that book you that those are things you need. And I think those are things. I mean, we all do go dress sometimes to our gigs, but there's always that time that it would be nice to have a private bathroom. It would, where we don't have to have somebody standing there at the door. It would be nice to be able to go in there and relax and not have to worry about putting something down on the floor and our socks getting greasy or our pants getting dirty when we're trying to get them on. So that is my big push. If I was an agent, I would make sure my Santas had that taken care of for me, and that's my perspective. Thank you.
Very good, Scott. Yeah, Rex says he was once asked to use the powder transformer room and in the warehouse to change. No chairs and tons of dust. My experience there, Rex, and everyone watching, my very first season at the mall, they put me in a janitorial room. This is where the janitor supplies for the restrooms were kept: toilet paper, hand sanitizer, soap, paper towels, that sort of thing. And it was an unlocked door during the daytime from the time I got there to the time I left. I didn't trust leaving my personal suits in there. My first year, I only had one suit supplied by the company, Worldwide Photography, at the time. But my biggest gripe, exactly what we're talking about, is they have these big industrial mats that they put down in the restroom areas. They would collect those mats on a cart, roll them back into that room where I dressed, take them off the cart, drag them across the table that I ate on, and stack them on another table next to my table, where everything you can imagine flew into the air. I went through a ton of Clorox wipes that year. I would have to wipe down my chair, a metal chair, of course, at first, and they finally got me a cushy chair. Had to wipe down the chair, the table. I had to each day grab a fresh trash bag out of the trash bag container, lay on the floor, because there was anything and everything you could think of on the floor. Absolutely hated it. I complained. They didn't move me the first year. Second year, I end up there again. I just finally had to say, look, I cannot do this. I eat my lunch right here with these mats that stink to high heaven next to me. Can't do it anymore. You've got to do better. And so the next year, then I had a really nice room set up with a private restroom. The first 2 years, I was next to the public restroom, and that poses its own, problems. And yes, I've had problems with public restroom, people coming up and trying to talk to Santa when he's trying to take care of business. So anyway, fantastic segment. Great job, Scott. All right. So
The other thing is that the issues that I have is, if you don't have your own dressing room with a restroom, you're sharing it with, like, I was in the dressing room they gave me was in the shop, out with the shop, where that's the bathroom that the mechanics use. Well, they go in there and are going to have to be working on a vehicle or a motor or whatever, and then go in there with their greasy hands to wash them. And what's on the door handle when they go in? So here you've put your white gloves on to go out. So please, let's all work together and try to demand that we have better facilities that were there. And another thing is an escort in and out, somebody to be there with you. If you go alone and you're not working with a Mrs. Claus, the same thing, but with a Mrs. Claus. All out there to you Mrs. Clauses. If you need to change or freshen your makeup or straighten your wig or whatever, you don't want to do that in a public restroom. We need to demand a grade A facilities. So thank you, Bob, for letting me have that part. I mean, I don't want to be ranting and raving about it, but it gets old,
It does, and it's an important part of what we do and how we prepare to do the professional job that we do. We are professionals. We expect the agents to supply us professional quality, grade A places to dress, clean places to dress. Now think about it. Mechanic shop, anyone that's ever walked into a garage where automobiles or trucks are worked on, they have a certain industrial smell of oil and greases and chemicals, and your suit can soak that stuff up and literally be almost impossible to get that out. So, that's something to think about. And Scott brought up a good point before the show. He and I was chatting about this. It's not to toot our own horn, but Santa is the show. Santa is what people come to see. They come to talk to Santa, give their Christmas wishes, and get a picture for the mantle with Santa. And sometimes the other side of this, the agents or agencies, they try hard. And I'm not saying it's their fault, but between them and the venue, they've got to do a little bit better for some of us guys who have went through those tough times with less than par dressing areas. I've been really fortunate since then. The marketing manager at my mall, she got on board immediately and said, "Look, we've got to do better than this." Went to the general manager of the mall, and they set aside a designated area that's clean. They have now have the janitorial group come in every other day, dump the trash, make sure I've got hand towels, soap, the toilet's cleaned. They really do a good job. I can't brag on them enough now, but boy, it was tough in the beginning.
Well, Bob, the other side of it, not to drag this out any longer, but the other side of it is, like we were talking earlier, is that when you go to a concert, do you think that performer that's on the stage is back there in the mechanic's bathroom or back there in the janitorial closet? No. They have a dressing room and they have a room that's designated. They are the star of that show. They are in a star suite, and we should not demand any less than that. I mean, I realize that we're not getting $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 for an hour and a half show, but it doesn't matter who it is. Kid Rock may be popular, but I, as Santa, have been around a lot more years and are very more recognizable than they are. So
That's true.
Being treated any less than those people, and that's just my feeling. Our money's going up. We need to as professional Santas, we need to ask. Don't be afraid to ask for an extra $50. They can always say no or say I'm not used to paying that. They can't eat you. It's real simple. I mean, I'm at the point in my fifth season, and I'm asking between $150 and $400 for 1 hour and getting it, and they don't buck an eye. I don't know. I mean, like I tell Bob over and over, I don't know that I'm the best Santa, but I'm the best Santa I can be, and I'm probably my own worst critic. So, I mean, and I've called Bob time after time and said, I got to do better than this. And and the thing about it is that my worst day, I feel like sometimes, is better than some of these people's best days. And we need to take pride in how we look. We need to take pride in what we demand for our performance, not only in money, but as in where we change. So, Bob, I'm going to send it back to you, and I'm going to hush up, get the duct tape out.
All right, good to see Greg Swick on with us today. Yes, Greg, just basic respect for your performers. That's exactly right. Again, we may not be as at a venue like a professional singer or someone would be at a regular venue where they would perform, where there is a green room. But the least these guys can do is give us a respectable place to change if we need to. If you work a 6, 8, 10-hour day, 12-hour day, as many have, and I've done in the past, that 30, 45 minutes or an hour that you have in a solitary area to yourself, It's everything that keeps us sane and able to go back out there an hour later with a smile on our face and continue the rest of our day, because there's been days when I've had really tough mornings. Look forward to my lunch break. Would go in, eat my lunch, usually through within 30 minutes, freshen up a little bit, use the little boy's room or the elf's room, and and then kick back for 10 or 15 minutes, lay back in my easy chair, turn the lights out, and just close my eyes for a minute and just rest. Just kind of let it all go from the morning and come back refreshed and ready to go for your afternoon shift. Anyway, fantastic. We went through all that. Great content from everyone. Those who have helped with your comments and things, thank you so much. AJ says that he must have already called Tom Cornelia, said he would give him a ring since AJ had already had one of the keys that Tom gives away. So fantastic. He says he's happy. We're happy. Everybody's happy. It's a fantastic day here. Labor Day holiday weekend. Thank you everyone for jumping in with us today. Any other questions before we let you guys go? Enjoy the rest of your day. If you've got a question, comment, anything, throw it into the comment box over and we'll chat about it for a moment before we get out of here.
I want to thank my grandson and my son for hopping on and joining. I guess the first time they've seen me on the show at all. So maybe they'll be regulars from now on. Maybe we can convince him in a few years to get the whiskers going and follow our trail and become a portrayal artist as well.
Hey, it could happen. It could happen.
Santa gathering this week in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
That's exactly right. That's where Spangle the Clown, Santa Spangle, is this weekend. Now, his new 45, we still call it new, although it's a little more than new, especially after we drug it back from the East Coast for him, but at 90 mile an hour. But anyway, Spangle's new trailer, he experienced some problems with his taillights and blinkers. It wasn't in the pigtail from the truck to the trailer. Couldn't figure out what it was. So he's had a mechanic out working on it, and they didn't get through with it. So he's not taking the 40-foot trailer with him to Pennsylvania for this weekend. But he did take his dually truck, and that thing is loaded down to the bumpers on the ground with goodies. So if you happen to be going to Pennsylvania this weekend to that gathering, to the Santa gathering, better shop Spangle early if you want to carry it home with you this weekend. Otherwise, he'll have to ship it to you at a later date once he gets back, if he runs out of something. So if you guys are interested in grabbing something, you better grab it early.
Well,
hello, Parker.
There won't be much he doesn't run out very often, but it does happen. But Spangle usually takes a pretty good inventory with him. So, but he's got some new stuff you guys need to jump out there and take a look at, that just come in, and he may be doing a launch there in Lancaster. So go by and check out Spangle when you're there.
The metal coins, he's taking plenty of those with him. Those things are absolutely gorgeous. Gosh,
a wish coin that's really cool too.
Yeah, Ken Boer won last week's trivia and has already received his gifts, which were the coins, and Spangle threw a bonus pair of gold rim of these glasses in. And many of you may have seen on the Tuesday Night Live show, as well as some of the other top Santa groups, where Ken had posted that thanking Spangle and the Tuesday Night Live show for his winnings. All right, Scott Parker. Man, you just stay in timeout, don't you? You and AJ, y'all are running. Hey, you better get busy, Scott. AJ's running a close second to you with them winnings. I tell you, he's catching you, brother.
I don't know when does Scott come out of timeout?
He just went in last week, so he.
Oh well, he's there for 30 days.
He's there for a couple more weeks at least,
and
and now AJ is too. So, but that's all right. Scott Parker. Scott Parker rule works.
Night.
What's that, Angela?
He can play on Tuesday night.
Yeah, he can play on Tuesday night. He's good there.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
If you didn't take the chance of trying to get a chance at that buckle, I'm telling you, they're beautiful. I wasn't going to say that, Bob, but I stepped up and bought two of them. So number 13 and number 2.
Yep, he sure did. I got number 1. I was lucky enough to be on board to grab that first one, and Even Scott kept himself one, so he's got one of them. But I tell you, and I know I've harped on this before, but I've got a whole collection of buckles, Santa buckles. That is absolutely my favorite. The pictures, of course, we can always say this. Pictures does not do it justice. That thing is absolutely beautiful, and I have had more comments on that one buckle than all the others combined throughout the years. And I'm excited to be able to put that belt and buckle on again this year and wear it proud. So thank you, Scott, for that contribution to the Santa community. It was limited 25. Hey, who knows? In the future, maybe Scott will design another buckle different from the one that we've got. Never know. It could happen.
When I visited Neil McCoy last year on the 22nd of December at his house, who, if you don't know who Neil McCoy is, he's a country recording artist from the late 80s, early 90s. And when I was there, that's the buckle I wore that was on his Facebook where it says the pledge every morning when I said it with him. So that's the buckle I wore, and I'm proud to be an owner of two of them. I mean, they're just gorgeous. I got the second one just in case, when Bob loses his, maybe I'll make a little money.
Again, it could happen. You never know, but I absolutely do. I love mine. So, okay. Fantastic. Eric and Moesha, he ended up getting number 6. Scott Parker kept number 12. You got 2 and 13. I got 1. And those other lucky folks who decided to go ahead and spend that money, and it was a high-end buckle. It was out of some people's, budget, and but I mean, that buckle, you can pass that on for generations. My son also portrays Santa. Hasn't been able to the last couple of years because of the job he's helped, but he's got a new job this year. Looks like he may be able to get back out and dilly and dally a little bit. But hey, that buckle can go to him and beyond because they are quality. They will last forever. Okay, let's wrap the show up. We've been on here 54 minutes now, so our time is just about up. Any other questions? Last chance. Speak now, forever hold.
I'm just going to say hello to Greg real quick.
Hey, Greg, listen to that, man. You got a special call out from Alpha Angela. She says, hello, hello, hello.
And Eric, it's great to see you guys on here. Again, I can't tell you how many times that I've showed your picture off in the white outfit from Branson. I mean, I'm so envious, but it's great to always see you guys on, and thank you for watching always. So it's just, y'all are an amazing couple. I can't say anything more that you just, I'm in awe.
Well, and on top of that, we had Bill Dendy on a couple of weeks back. He is Santa's tailor, and he said he's made 4 of those Santa suits in that white for himself to wear, and have sold all 4 of them before he had a chance to wear them. Of course, Eric got the last one, but that was the white suit that you saw. That is from Santa's tailor. If you're interested in one of Santa Taylor's Bill Dendy suits, reach out to him. He's booked up for the rest of this season and almost booked up for 2023. So if you're going to get on his list, you got to get on it now, or you will have to wait till 2024. Yeah. And I spoke to him a couple of days ago at length. He has just about got his new store warehouse put together. He's planning on having here in a couple of weeks an open house. It'll be during the week on a weeknight. Scott, I don't know if you're going to drive down or not, but he's going to have a little open warehouse opening party get together, and supposed to have some grub to eat, and so that's something that we'll be looking forward to, going down and seeing his new shop and his layout and where all the magic will happen.
So are we going together?
If you come down, we'll go together.
I'll run my sleigh down there and see if I can catch you.
All right, man.
Hop on board. Hey, it's great being here. Thanks, Bob. We're at 56 minutes, and it's dinner time for me. I don't know about you guys, but I want to thank you guys once again for having me. And Bob, I'm going to let you take us out of this.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Same Claus time, same Claus channel for the Tuesday night live show. Me and Scott and Alpha Angela, and Again, Spangle will be on his way up to the Pennsylvania gathering for the weekend. He may tune in and set in on the comments, but will not be on the broadcast itself. Remember, you can always catch us here on Mondays at 3 p.m. As always, remember, we got our YouTube channels. Both of them are up and running. Our hit counter here on Facebook is taking been less numbers, but that's because everyone's going over to YouTube and watching it. The advantage of watching on YouTube is I can go in here in my 65-inch screen and watch it big time, and just get a better viewing experience that way. The Bob, Randyl and Company Live preview show. That's the channel for this show. The Tuesday Night Live show on YouTube is the Tuesday show. Be sure and go over and give us a subscribe if you will, please. We need those subscriptions. Tell your friends. Tell everyone to go over and give us. Hey, it don't cost anything to subscribe. Just throw us up a like, a comment, subscribe. Thanks, everyone.
Hit your thumbs up, too.
And give thumbs up. That's correct. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you here next week at 3 p.m. tomorrow night, 7 p.m. for Cat M. Hazen, ASL Part 2 for Christmas Entertainers. Good night. Good evening. Goodbye. Happy Labor Day. See everyone later. God bless.
Bye-bye.